So, Dr. Umar Johnson claims they blames black boys. Coming right up. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Common Sense Logic Reason. And as always, I want to say thank y'all for joining me today. So, Dr. Umar Johnson back at it again, saying a whole bunch of nonsense. Seems like 99% of stuff that comes out of his mouth is jackassery. But he was doing yet another interview speaking nonsense. And he said that the system blamed black boys for their academic failure.
Need a special school. Black boys don't need a special curriculum. Black boys don't need a special education. The problem is they have flipped this situation on its head, and they have the black community looking at our boys as if they are the problem. Nothing's wrong with black boys. The problem is the white teachers, who are 67% of Cleveland's teachers, don't care about the black boys they teach. So you should be intervening with the white teacher. But because of snow bunny privilege, she cannot be blamed. The white woman cannot be blamed for the failure of black boys. So what do? We let them blame our boys for why they can't read. We let them blame our boys for why they can't count. We let them blame our boys for why they can't sit still. And nobody ever points a finger at the racist white teacher. Public education is the only industry in America where the customer is blamed for not getting the product they paid for. When you go to the supermarket and your food is spoiled, you go back to the supermarket. When you buy an automobile and your car doesn't work, you go back to the auto shop. But when black kids come home and can't read, we don't look at the teachers, we blame them.
Okay, first off, I'm going to start with what I agree with him on. I agree that black boys don't need any special treatment. They don't need any special schools, including FDMG. Okay, there's no black child in America that does not have a school that they can go to. Okay, so they don't need any special treatment, any special curriculum. They don't need any special education. The educational system that we have is more than capable of educating children as it does every day. But that's pretty much all I agree with him on in this topic. Now, I would love for Dr. Umar Johnson to tell me how he knows that these white female teachers are racist and don't care about their students, their black boys, as he says. That's more made up nonsense. It's just more theorizing by these pro-blacks. They love theorizing on subjects that they have no real evidence of, they can't prove. So they have these running theories. They have to resort to these running theories. And I would say this, that these teachers wouldn't be there if they didn't care. Again, given the nature of what a teacher is today, I mean, it's being a teacher is almost like a police officer. That's a calling. And the people who do it, they're called to do those jobs. They don't hate those kids, and they do everything they can to try to teach those children. Oftentimes, it's a system that gets in the way. But, you know, I would just love him to tell me, how does he know that these teachers don't care? They wouldn't be there if they didn't care. Again, if we talk about a teacher, which is not a very celebrated job. Now, also, I would love for him to explain to me that who's blaming black boys for their academic failure. I have never heard anyone blame black boys. The culture, I mean, you look at the left, they blame the system. They say that it's the system that's failing the black boys, and they say such dumb nonsense like school to prison pipeline. Now, us conservatives, we say the problem is the bad culture that's raising horrible children and sending horrible children to the schools. That's the problem. So we say it's a poor parenting to prison pipeline. But I've never heard anyone say, well, it's just the boys. It's only the black boys. No, it's really truly the culture that's the problem. This culture that's causing black people the issues they have in the United States of America. So nobody's blaming a black child. This dude is, I mean, Dr. Umar Johnson is an idiot. I say this all the time, and I have numerous videos out there proving that he's an idiot. Now, the only question I really have at this point is, who follows this fool? The only people that follow Dr. Umar Johnson are brainwashed black people who bends over backwards to try to make everything about race. It's the same thing in which everybody's trying to do about the incident at Tennessee State. Black folks have gone bending over backwards, reaching like Mr. Fantastic to try to justify how those students who were acting like jackasses are right, and those white guys who just having honest conversations were wrong. They're doing they're literally doing somersaults like, they could be a gymnastics teams. All the somersaults and jumping and reaching and flexing and flipping that they're doing to try to justify how those white guys are wrong and those white kids were acting quote unquote professional. Anyway, and like I said, I know why people follow him being a logical person, but it's still dumbfounding that people listen to such jackassery when they can look around and clearly see the truth, but they're so clouded by being brainwashed by race. They can't see, as I say, they can't see the forest for the race. But anyway, y'all, Dr. Umar Johnson is wrong. I have never heard anyone ever blame black boys. I've always heard either people blame the system or the culture. Anyway, y'all, as always, until next time.